Welcome to Radio Horror Tonight here on WCW. If you're catching this streaming on the site or maybe on the YouTube channel with a slideshow of our fantastic guest returning to something she was super famous for from, I think, 1989 to 1998 on the USA Network. Rhonda returns to Up All Night, but this time on the Kings of Horror YouTube channel, right? They're a YouTube channel?
Yep, exactly.
Rhonda, thank you so much for coming on the show. I was a huge fan of yours back in the 90s when you were doing that Up All Night. I think it was like you, then Gilbert Gottfried, or Gilbert Gottfried was before you. But
yes. It started in 1989. I didn't come on until 1991. There was a gal before me for a year, I believe.
Okay.
And they decided to change directions, the network. They wanted just really out there and sexy, and to catch the attention of people watching, which back then they were B films, and now there's such a resurgence of everybody loving these horror and B films. But I guess they thought by having Gilbert and myself, we would, hold the attention in between. Of course, always horror hosts have been popular even in local hometowns from the beginning of television, I believe. But anyway, Gilbert did start in 1989, and God bless him. We will do our first show will be dedicated in his memory, and I miss him dearly. But he did Saturday nights, and I hosted Friday nights, and I did it from 91 to 98, and it was just incredible time. And it's amazing, since the press is starting to get out there, the reception from fans is blowing my mind. In the last years, since, Up All Night, or USA Up All Night, now it's Rhonda Up All Night. I have had an intimate apparel company under Rhonda Shear Intimates, and we are on Home Shopping Network. And my husband and I, we design, we develop, we produce intimate apparel. So we own this company. It's not just my name attached to it. It's actually my love and my design. So that's what I've been doing. And I've been on television, but I'm not sure if the same fans of USA Network and All Night were watching me selling bras and panties on Home Shopping Network these last 20 years. So it's really cool that the Kings of Horror and we got together, serendipity, and are doing this really wonderful partnership, because they've got the films. We've got the production facility. They distribute films all over Europe, Japan. It's really exciting, too, because that's the whole thing, is being able to get the great films that everybody wants to watch. So I'm really excited about this, and it's going to be a lot of the feeling, but a lot of new. Obviously, I'm not exactly the same age I was back in those days, but I'll still have plenty of eye candy on, a lot of pretty people, pretty men, pretty women, great actors, sketches. And I'm very proud to announce that my musical director on the show, and will be a regular on the show, will be John Brennan and Yuki. So you may know him from the last Drive-In. So we're very excited to be having him join our cast and crew as well.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Bob returned, and Elvira returned for her 40th anniversary on Hulu, and so it was just like about time that you returned as well. So it was funny when I saw that was happening. I was like, oh well, I've had Cassandra on.
They're all literally coming out of the crypt.
I've had Cassandra on. I've had Joe Bob on. So I was like, okay, so I have to have Rhonda on as well.
That's so sweet. I mean, and I know Cassandra going all the way back to, we did a Happy Days together back a million years ago, an episode of Happy Days. And Joe Bob, well, he was on Up All Night. I have to say it that way or people get upset. And also I was on Monster Vision. And then I had a little show that I was just doing during COVID, which we still run on Thursday nights on YouTube and all over. It's just called Rhonda Shear Social Hour. But he was on that for me. It was kind of doing podcasts. So, we've been in touch. And then I was a guest on his show about 6 months ago when he had like a slumber party and had Felicia Rose and a few other screen queens. So it was really exciting to reunite with him and then meet his crew. So, I mean, he's doing great. And it's exciting that I think in general there's a resurgence in the horror genre, and there's a new appreciation for it. And so a lot of my fans that grew up watching our show, they grew up, and then a lot of these people are now producing and directing these films. So I've been acting quite a bit because people have been reaching out and saying, wow, I grew up with you. Will you be in my film? And so I've been playing a lot of cougars lately. So that's been fun. And then this wonderful opportunity with the Kings of Horror. So they have about 1.9 million subscribers right now. And we're hoping to grow that audience and just get the word out there even more so.
You should have someone cast you in a movie where you turn into a were-cougar. Like
that is just what. Now that's really funny that you said that. What made you say that, Chris?
Because you said you played cougars, and there you could be like a were-cougar, where you're like an actual cougar woman, but you get bitten by a were-cougar, and then it just becomes like this full circle meta ridiculousness. But this take
is
it
really
seriously.
funny that you say.
Don't do it slapstick. Take it seriously, because I hate slapstick werewolf crap.
You are so right on, because there's a cartoon. I can't think of the name of it. There's a cartoon that runs on the Kings of Horror. I'm doing their podcast tonight, and I'm blanking on the name right now. Anyway, I'm doing a character on there, and they said they want to write me in as a regular on the show. And it's a great cartoon, too. I mean, it's monster, it's scary, but it's a cartoon. And I want them to be the lead into Up All Night. And so they said, what character do you want to play? And I said, a cougar. And they said, a were-cougar. And this was just like days ago. So that's what I'm laughing about. Like, you got it 100%. So I will be half woman and half cougar. And then when I go flirting, I become a cougar. Like the animal cougar or a were-cougar. I don't know. It hasn't been worked out, but you hit the nail on the head. So thank you.
What are you going to be doing on? It's the 25th, right? What movies are you going to be previewing? Are you going to have like the couch, the whole setup, the lingerie, the whole 9 yards?
I am going to have a little surprise with the films. So you're going to have to wait and see. We'll be announcing that soon. But we are going to have a very close, similar set that is being done. My husband and I own a studio that we built from ground up called Shear Media Studios in St. Petersburg, Florida. So we have recreated the bedroom set, which I think is the most iconic for most people who watched the show in the 90s. And it's very similar feeling, and it'll be the feeling of the 90s. We're not going to be set in the 90s, but it'll have that nostalgic feeling, and we will have, again, just a roving cast of characters. We'll bring a lot of great actors and comics on. The first show, we're going to have Felissa Rose dropping in. We're going to have Linnea Quigley dropping in. We're going to have Lou Caputo, who you may or may not know, but he's one of the great hosts of Home Shopping Network. And then we're going to have not Joe Bob on the first one. Hopefully he'll come along down the line. But we'll have John Brennan and Yuki on our very first October 25th show. And we're planning out. We have 3 specials that will run before the first of the year. It'll be a Halloween, then Thanksgiving, then Christmas. And then we go into every other week from the first of the year on. So I'm pretty excited. So twice a month we'll be putting out new content, new shows.
What do you have to do to get these films to be able to do this? Do you go after public domain films, or is it like?
Oh no, that's really the exciting partnership I have with Kings of Horror. Their parent company is a company called Blue Sky, and they have several channels on YouTube, but they're what they really do is that they are a film distribution company out of Prague, and he distributes for all over Europe. So he's a big film distributor. So what's really great is they already have their own film library, much like USA Network did. But then if I say, wow, I would love to do this film with Linnea Quigley, and if they don't have it, then they'll go after it to see if they can license it. That's the problem with, we tried to redo Up All Night on our own with my own team, and that was the problem, was getting the film. So we were working with a few producers that were allowing us to use theirs, like a lovely gentleman named Richard Gabai, who did Revenge of the Party Nerds 1 and 2, and a few of other films. So we were getting people, but it's really hard to sustain that. And then I guess so many people do go to public domain, but now we have a real film distribution company with the real films. So you're going to see a lot of films that you knew during the Up All Night days. You'll see new films, and then you'll see premieres of films that have never, ever aired anywhere. And I think that's really exciting.
You put a book out a couple of years ago. It was your biography, correct?
It's actually more than that. What it is, I wanted people to know, I called it Up All Night because I knew that would grab the attention. But it was basically taking you through my earliest days, and even starting in Louisiana as a beauty queen, and then becoming a stand-up comic, and then Up All Night, and then turning around and finding love after 40 years old, or I should say renewing. I reunited with my junior high school sweetheart, and we got married, and we started a business. So it basically gives you tips of survival tips for finding love after 40 and also finding a completely new business. So pretty much for the last years, I've been considered an entrepreneur and not a horror host, or a host of B films. So literally, I have been, in the business of intimate apparel and producing our own products. So that's been really exciting. So that I did with my husband. So the book talks about basically making it in the business world. So it kind of is a little autobiographical, obviously, but then it gives tips on how to start a business and how, like, if believing in yourself and starting up a business and then, finding your way in that world. And it's funny, I've been told that maybe you should do another book now, because not only have you done the whole entrepreneurial thing and continue to have my own company, Rhonda Shear Intimates, but then we've gone ahead and full circle and going back and doing the entertainment world and the acting world, which I really wasn't looking for, Chris. It kind of came to me, but I have to tell you, it's feeding my heart and soul, and I'm having a blast. So I even have more control, obviously, with this show than even with USA Network. I mean, I had a lot of control and ideas, but they were the ones that would change producers on me and would be in a really great place. And then all of a sudden, the show they changed producers and would have to start all over every year. So every year had kind of a different feeling, where this one, I am getting to pick my crew and my actors. Well, I always got a hand on the actors, but more of the concepts for each show. So it's really fun. So I kind of have an actor's hat on, a writer's hat on, a casting director's hat on, and I'm just having a ball with it.
That's amazing. You get you reunite with an old flame, and then you get married at 40, where most people are complaining, "Oh, I'll never find love again." Right.
And so the book talks about that. And also starting a business with my husband, and now he is the exec producer on Up All Night. So, we've done a lot of things. He was a businessman, so he brought that to the table, and I brought my stand-up comedy and being able to, be myself. And so when we started a business and going on Home Shopping Network, which is live television when you're selling your products, I had my background of on camera, and he had his background of business and financial. So that was a great marriage, and we still take that into now the production company too. And the fact that we own a studio, which makes it really nice that we produce for other people, or other people can rent our spaces out, or we're now producing our own content and a podcast. And it's just really fun for me. I never thought at this place in life. I mean, I can tell you one thing, I'm not going to retire, Chris. There's no retirement. People, I guess, old horror hosts just keep coming back.
You should do a book about all of the movies that you've covered on Up All Night back in the day. I don't know if you would be allowed to. You have to clear it with USA, or I don't really know how that works. But I myself am writing a book called Vampires in Physical Media, and I take all the films in my library of physical media, not streaming, so they have to actually have to own them on DVD or Blu-ray or 4K now.
Right.
And I'm writing essays about each one, which also spotlights what's the bonus features on these discs as well. So if I don't own it, I'm not covering it. So it could be even a movie that came out, was in theaters, was on streaming, but it has no physical release. I'm not going to cover it. But you should do one about all the films ever covered on Up All Night. And tribute the book to, and by the way, in the beginning of the book, the first page should say, for Gilbert, you know what I mean? Something like that, and then go on to the book.
Well, this is what's really funny about that. I hosted, Gilbert and we both weren't as film heavy as other horror hosts, although, a love of those films. But, I mean, like Joe Bob writes all of his own shows, yep. And so does Fanguli, I believe. So we were more sketch heavy on Up All Night. Yep. So I told the people we're working with, I said, I need to be more film heavy, because I find the new fans of the horror films are much more invested in the films than they were in the 90s. Like, they really want to know the background of the films. Uh-huh. And I love that. I think it's really cool. So I am utilizing a couple of people that will give like a little background or reviews of the films. You might be someone really great, Chris, down the line, because of your love and your knowledge of it, that we could use on the show. And
so writing a book like that, where you're covering all the films from Up All Night, I would love to help anybody with that. Of course, would definitely need a thorough list of everything that's covered. But my book should be out hopefully next year, covering all the vampire films I own in physical media. J. Gordon Melton wrote a book called The Vampire Book, which was very popular, volumes 1 and 2, in the heyday that you were doing Up All Night. You may have run into him. And they covered every single vampire modern media period on existence in all of Earth and creation. It was such a thorough book.
Oh my gosh, how many films could that have been?
Oh, I mean, it's not just films, books, TV shows, plays, fictional or historical supposed vampires. Dracula, Elizabeth Bathory, yada yada yada. And the most famous book is probably one that has like Kiefer Sutherland's, David from the Lost Boys on the cover. You might have seen it at bookstores. Yeah. So a book like that for you would be fantastic. And again, the first page say, for Gilbert,
Oh my gosh. Okay, so here we did about 450 shows.
Woo! That's a long book. So it'd be one movie per page.
wait, no, it gets better. We did 450 shows, and there were 3 films per episode. So 2 of them we were on camera, and the third film that we hosted, we did the voiceovers for.
Uh-huh.
So, and now here's the really cool part that people get really upset about. During those years, which was a long time ago, but USA Network would send me every film so that I could watch the film, so that I would know, even though it was scripted, I would work with a lot of the writers, I would know the film. So I would be aware of the film and know the film. And even if I wasn't a fan of the film, at least I'd know what's going on in the film. Through the years, I would have had a collection, even though obviously I wouldn't have owned the rights to those films, but I would have had a collection of, add that up, 450 times 3 films for that many, add that up, a lot of films. But through the years, living in an apartment, I would toss them. So I don't own any of those films. And but wait, it gets better though, Chris. This is going to make you happier. I don't think I could be the expert on those films like you. I'd have to definitely go back and review them. What the Kings of Horror want to do, and I think you're going to love this, is they want to go back, and I'm the only one who owns the sketch part of my show, like the wraparounds they were called. And the reason why, it was in my contract that USA Network had to supply me with either a 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch of every show that I did. And thank goodness, because I have this amazing amount of content from everything I've ever done, but definitely Up All Night. So I am the only one that has a complete library of my Friday night shows. USA Network literally erased Gilbert's footage and my footage for back then. Are you ready for this? The tape stock. So all those incredible shows with the incredible Gilbert, and his were fabulous, are gone. They're just gone. So unless the director held on to a few. And so as for myself, I happen to have most of we feel like we're missing about 20 of them, but that's not bad out of 400 and something shows.
No.
So the fact that I have all that content, what we're going to do, Kings of Horror, which is owned by this company called Blue Sky, is going to match up my old wraparounds with.
Wait, hold on. Blue Sky, like the app, the Twitter clone?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
I was going to say, whoa, they're big.
No, but they are big. Blue Sky is big. But I think there's a lot of Blue Skies out there. I mean, companies, because I've seen a bunch. But if you look them up, they are out of Prague, and they are a big company.
Oh, okay, they're out of Prague.
But they are a huge company, because, I mean, he distributes all over the world. Anyway, this is something – he started playing with channels, the owner, about I guess about 10 years ago. So he owns several channels that are doing very well, and decided to start putting faces and more, hosted and more original programming on them, and that's how we came about. But what he's going to do is he wants to find those original shows, which I own, and basically put the films back into them. So that would be, because he'll license those films, as many as he can, and I think that's really cool. So we'd be able to find some of those old gems and then just literally cut them to match back as retro content.
I think what you need to do is figure out what episodes you're missing, and then just throw it out there, being like, "Hey guys, in the fandom, do you have VHS copies of these episodes? Only these episodes." Make sure you're very clear, because you'll have every idiot sending you crap that you don't need, and just be like, "If you send us anything we already have, and it's not what we're asking for, we will ignore your email. So don't even bother sending it to us."
Oh my gosh,
we want these emails. We want these specific episodes. You know what I mean? So that way it helps weed out the stupidity that fans just don't bother reading. They're just going to send you something. Plus, you'll also get sent a bunch of crap you probably don't want to see. You get what I'm saying. But I think that's what you need to do. And the reason why I say this is because the BBC did the same thing, and they have been constantly hounding the fans, asking them, if you have any of our old stuff from like post-World War II,
Wow.
like Doctor Who is their biggest one. They did not save all of Doctor Who, so they're always looking for old recorded tapes of Doctor Who, which obviously in the 1960s when it first aired would not have been available. But in reruns, people would have recorded it once the VCR was invented. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And then, now you can AI and color correct these shows. So it's very cool what you can do.
Color correcting, yes. AI, I would be very careful. There's a lot of anti-AI people out there.
That's true.
I'm one of
That's
them.
true.
I'm 100% AI against in all forms. But
yes, I know it's too crazy, but I can tell you this much: we have been very lucky because all the old tapes that I have, which I mean, it's not just Up All Night, but it's everything that I did, like sitcoms and acting and films. I kept them in storage in LA for many years, like in a refrigerated storage. I mean, there was a film storage facility. And then when my husband and I got married, he actually built me a storage room facility. It was huge. That houses all these half inches, and through the year, half inch and 3/4, and even larger than that. Through the years, we have been putting them on DVD and then uploading them to YouTube. So I have a lot of content, and it looks good. Like only a few tapes didn't stand the test of time. Very few. For the most part, they've done very well, which is really exciting because not everybody keeps stuff, their entire life, but it's pretty exciting.
I mean, I found an old VHS tape that I don't remember when I recorded it, but it was an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I think it introduces Liza Dushku as Faith, and it was definitely run during Halloween because the commercials in it from like 1998, I think, or whatever. It was just fascinating to see some of these old 1998 Halloween commercials.
We love, that's so funny that you say that because when we run footage from Up All Night, and we do it. We have this show called Rhonda Shear Social Hour, and my producer will run some of these old commercials. Everyone loves them from the 90s. So we because we tape the shows, they still have the commercials in them. So it's and then plus I did live commercials on camera. I mean live to tape anyway for Snapple and for Budweiser and all of these that were part of the show. So we have all of these. It's really fun to go back and look at that vintage stuff. So and again, it's really nice. I mean, I wish I should put it out there for the missing 12 or 13 or whatever, if I can remember what shows they were. We do have lists, so we'd have to go through down the list and see the shows and the films that we're missing. It's a good idea, though, to put it out there.
People collect you. They collect your books. They probably have merchandise and memorabilia of you. What do you collect as a fan of movies, of like horror, sci-fi, fantasy, dramas? What are you a collector of? What do you store in your home that you can't live without? I collect vinyl records and comic books and horror documentaries.
That is so funny. I don't. I have to say I don't have. I had collections, but through many years of marriage and moving from LA and moving to Texas and then, moving to San Diego and moving to LA, it's just that through the years, I don't have the collection. I do have a vast collection of many of my own memorabilia, and a lot of that I let go just because I couldn't just keep traveling with it. So I don't have that collection, sadly enough. I became much more, I suppose, domestic and got into more of home goods. But I did have a collection of costumes, but they were mainly, out of my past. But I wish I could have held on to so many of those things. You just can't. I won't say you grow up, but when you get married and your husband, he's collecting, he was a dirt bike rider and he's got his trophies and I've got my trophies from being Miss Louisiana and a beauty queen, and you're carrying this stuff around your whole life. Then you go, okay, we're in a new house. We're going to have to get rid of some of these beautiful things. Or we usually give them away. I've given a lot of my memorabilia and some of my collections to someone near and dear to my heart who does collect. And he's my producer, Gene May. And he has, he's going to get a lot of things. One day, when I'm no longer, he's getting everything of mine. So he does collect. But so many people I know have the DVDs, have the Blu-ray, have the vinyl. And my husband and I had massive collections of vinyl when we got married, and both of us got rid of that, sadly enough. So sorry about that. I collect small frogs though, little ceramic frogs.
Oh, I thought you meant like you had like an aquarium of frogs.
No, I just have these little frogs, not many, but and I do like toys. So it's interesting that you say that because for my own merchandise that we're starting to recreate again, I do have T-shirts, and we're going to have some really cool stuff. We're going to have these little figurines that will go on top of your computer because I love little dolls. Like I have a thing for little dolls. I don't have any in my own collection right now, but I've had them in my life before.
You mean like the creepy dolls, like with the blinking eyes that people get terrified
No,
of?
no, these are more out of like Japan. They're little figurines that are Japanese, and they're really cute. And like there's one that's called Smidgies, and the Smidgie you can buy them at Urban Outfitters, and they're like just like these little guys, and they stick to the back of your computer and they look at you. So I want to do a Rhonda one that has her foot in the air, and I want to do a Rhonda one that has like, it's kind of how fans remember me and ask for me. And I think they'll be really cute. And what I like about them is that instead of being furry or fluffy, they're little hard figurines about 2 inches, high and tall, but you can stick them on your computer and your phone. So I think that, I don't know, they just talk to me. And that kind of little things like my little frogs, those are the kind of little collections that I like. So I think I'm going to start a trend with these little dolls because no one has them out there. They have the bobbleheads, they have the figurines, but no one has like these little adorable figures, and especially almost as a caricature. I'm starting that, and along with, we're going to have some great merchandise. We're going to have a comedy comedy vinyl will be in one of my first collections of merchandise because I did a lot of stand-up comedy and have a lot of shows. So Gene has gone back and put that all into a vinyl. So I'm excited about that. We're going to have a CD of like the best of my Halloween shows from Up All Night. So yeah, it's kind of fun to revisit all of this. But again, remember, I haven't really been doing this in many years. So a lot of this is new to me, including going to some of these Comic-Cons. So I'm getting ready I have like 3 or 4 booked, or maybe 4 or 5 booked for next year. And that's even new to me. So I'm kind of like literally coming out of the crypt and back.
Well, you look better than the Crypt Keeper does, so that's a compliment. Well, thank you, Rhonda, for coming on the show to talk about your return to Up All Night. It's Friday, October 25th, right?
Yes, Friday, October 25th, 10 p.m. Go to YouTube. Just type in Kings of Horror. We will be there with a lot of fun and people that you know. And thank you so much, Chris. And then we'll be on.
I'll do my best to watch it. If not, I'll definitely be catching it, because it's on streaming, so it'll be available. So if you can't catch it because you're working or you got something else happening because it's Halloween, it will obviously be on streaming. And it's not like back in the old days where you were like, oh no, I don't know if this is going to be a rerun. So
yes, you'll be able to see it. Then we'll have the Thanksgiving, we'll have a Christmas, and then after that we go every other week. We'll be on, so stay tuned.
Well, I'll definitely keep your agent's information handy to have you return to the show in a few months after you've had a few of these under your wing, and hopefully you're at a con here in New England. Like I said, think about that book. I would definitely love to help you with it if you decide to go ahead with a big biography of like all the films you covered.
Oh my gosh! All right, that is a great idea. I will put it in the back of my head, and I know if I tell my producer Gene, he's going to love it.
Absolutely, and look for my book. Like I said, coming out later next year. Vampires of Physical Media, as I'm
Congratulations. And we're going to have you on the show to promote that. So please,
that would be fantastic. Yeah.
No, we will. I love doing that. We could
definitely talk about that. I'll mention it to whoever.
To Marie. No, you got to come on. You got to come on and promote the book. I love that.
I'll mention it to the woman I've been emailing you about, Marie.
Okay,
yeah. Also, I'll keep in contact with her about it when we get closer to it. I'm still writing it, so it's.
No. Actually, it's a great. That's the kind of segments I look for. So thank you. We definitely look forward to having you on.
All about the love of the film. So yeah, I would absolutely love that. But we can work out all those details next year when it actually gets closer to being published. So.
Yay, Chris. Thank you. Stay in touch.
I will. I will be following you on social media, so I will definitely be staying in touch there through Radio of Horror.
All right, dear. Thank you so much again. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Chat soon.
Hold on a second.